it's made a huge difference on our agency in terms of our performance, in terms of our growth, in terms of our just overall cohesiveness into how everybody operates.
Welcome to the Insurance Refocused podcast, where we're highlighting real agent stories and how they are innovating to respond to the changes and challenges happening in the independent insurance industry. My name's Lindsay, and I can't wait to introduce you to my amazing co-host, who just so happens to be my mom, Carey Wallace. Mom, how you doing today?
I am doing well. I am thrilled that you're actually in town with me and able to be in the same office with me, which is a great treat, obviously.
I know, it's funny. I can hear you through my computer and through the wall right now, so it's a little trippy.
It is a little trippy, but I'm super excited that I have one of my favorite agencies represented today on the podcast. Today, Pat O'Neill of O'Neill Insurance in Wadsworth, Ohio, is joining us. Thank you so much, Pat, for being our guest.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I would be remiss if I didn't point out that you are a Miami grad, and so is Lindsay. So I think it's pretty cool that we're representing Miami of Ohio pretty well today, right?
Yes, we are. Go Red Hawks.
Go Red Hawks, yes. So Pat, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into insurance.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Lindsay and Carey. It's a pleasure to speak with you both. I am a second generation agency owner. We are in Wadsworth, Ohio. That's where our agency is. We're in Northeast Ohio, a little south of Cleveland, outside of Akron, Ohio. And I got into the insurance industry right out of college. So as you mentioned, I graduated from Miami University. And from there, I went and worked with Cincinnati Insurance. So I graduated in 2008, right in the middle of, the Great Recession, and jobs were tough. And, I always kind of knew that I wanted to get into the insurance business. And my path into the business was to go work for an insurance company. So I started doing commercial lines underwriting. I had the opportunity to go out and be a field rep. And that really opened my eyes to independent agencies, large public brokers. And I got to meet agency owners, work with different associates in those insurance firms, and just really, really enjoyed my experience. So I had the opportunity to work there for about 6.5 years, and then transitioned back to Northeast Ohio into our family agency about 9 years ago. So my father, Patrick, is the founder of the agency, and my grandpa worked for Westfield Insurance. So it's kind of in our DNA and it's in our blood. I know that's not uncommon for a lot of people in our business, but fortunate enough to be part of a team here, lead a great team, and just really focus on being an independent agent and serving our clients and serving our team members.
Hey guys, if you're looking to improve your bottom line, allow your team to operate efficiently, and really improve that customer retention, I believe you should check out Ascend. Ascend is the all-in-one insurance payment solution. They are focused on streamlining your invoicing, premium financing, accounting, and they'll even make your carrier payables for you. They are taking agency bill and making it as easy as direct bill. That is a game changer. They integrate with all of the major AMS players, and here's the best part. It's free. There is no subscription, no cost to you. They allow your customers to pay how they want. If you are interested in improving your efficiency, go visit ascend.com/insurance refocused and let them know that we sent you. I love that you took a path, Pat, that wasn't directly into the agency. I think it's so critically important for the next generation to have some perspective other than the family business. I think it really positions you very well. I get to see a lot of family run businesses without question as I work with agencies across the country. And those that have perspective, I think, really are able to bring some unique ideas and different way of doing things than the generation before them. But it also allows you to appreciate what the family business offers as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're exactly right. It was a fun journey, being in the business but not being affiliated with my family agency. And as I would go into other firms and I would talk to my dad and hear about the things that they were doing back in our agency, it really made me realize that they were doing so many things extremely well, being forward thinking, being involved in associations and networks that were, different than what I had experienced on some of the agencies that I called on. So it was a great perspective, and when the time was right, and the team here back at O'Neill Insurance felt like it'd be a good fit for me to come back. I wanted to come back and really be an asset to the agency, and I had insurance experience, but again, I had never sold insurance. So when I came back, that was my primary responsibility to be a producer and to write new business, focusing on commercial insurance. And here we are 9 years later. So it's been a great ride, and continues to be a great ride. I love the business, love the company that we have here, and the team that we have here.
Well, I want to start the conversation around remote working. So am a remote employee, and I think one of the things that I find really challenging about it is that, especially, I'm new, right? I'm 23. I'm still trying to figure out how to be a good coworker, how to be a good employee, how to be a good teammate overall, and what that looks like in a remote setting. Sometimes I find myself worried about keeping my Teams light green or making sure I'm always responding to a Teams message or an email as fast as possible so they know that I'm there working. And I think it's so hard to build culture and build like teamwork around remote work. So it seems like you do this well. I was stalking your O'Neill LinkedIn page earlier this morning, actually, and I saw that you guys do lots of uh, like office outings, like at baseball games and things, and that you were even named one of Ohio's best employers. So it seems like O'Neill is a really fun place to work. And so, oh, and even you had a cameo announcement from Kevin from The Office to announce everybody was coming back from The Office. That's absolutely hilarious. So, how do you manage the culture in this crazy remote, in person, hybrid dynamic that we're all experiencing right now?
Yeah, it's interesting. Prior to COVID, we actually had a full-time remote employee. So we had a woman that had been on our personal lines team, and she got relocated to Florida, and she's worked there for a long time now. So prior to COVID, Kathy would hop on Skype messaging. This was kind of before Teams, so Skype messaging, and connect with her personal lines team that way. And we would call her in for group meetings. So it was kind of part of us, and we never really knew how much of a part it would be to our culture and to our team today. So it is a challenge, but it does take just an intentional focus. And, my father, Patrick, was very, very focused on culture, always has been, in a lot of different ways. And about, gosh, we're going on 7 or 8 years now. We became part of the high performing culture. It's kind of a consulting type firm that helps drive fundamentals and behaviors. So, that journey of being really intentional about our culture started 7 or 8 years ago. And obviously, when COVID hit and we all went and worked from home, we had this really strong foundation of, not only having a great team and having wonderful people that work for us and serve our clients, but, a strong culture that was defined and we knew what it looked like. So obviously, it's kind of changed and transitioned over that time, but we just continue to have to be focused on it because we are only in the office a couple days a week, but we utilize Microsoft Teams, and really we try to schedule things out, either intentionally throughout the year or as opportunities come up. So you mentioned the cameo video from Kevin from The Office. When we decided to bring the team back, we had Kevin do a cameo, and he welcomed the O'Neill Insurance team and said, "You're coming back to the office." And it was only 1 or 2 days a week at that time, but it was something fun. So we really just try to engage everybody. So to make our remote employees that are fully remote, we have a couple of them, to make them feel like they're part of the team, even though they may not be physically located here in Northeast Ohio. So, we have Wednesday morning huddles. We've been doing our Wednesday huddles for a long time, and it's really an opportunity for everybody that's in the office and everybody that is remote to come in. It's a 30-minute meeting, and we just have kind of a quick agenda. And it's taken a couple iterations over the years, but it's really focused on driving the core values that we have at our agency, sharing new business successes as a team. We have moments of gratitude. So anybody on the team that has something that they're thankful for, that they want to recognize, they have the opportunity to share that with the team. So, and again, it's just an opportunity for us all to stay connected, to increase communication. We try to be a really transparent organization. So we are transparent about our company results, about our financial results. And, you can really only do that with communication. So our Wednesday morning huddles are really foundational to what we do, and, really staying together and making sure that not only are we connecting professionally and talking about our clients and our challenges and successes, but also making sure that we're connecting with our team personally. So our Wednesday morning huddles are just something we do first thing every single Wednesday. It's interesting. Some days we'll have 10 people in the office and 10 people on the screen. Some people will have two people on the screen and, 18 or 19 in the office. So it's just kind of part of who we are. And I really hope that, we really just that our team that is really isn't in our office, they feel as close as everybody else it does. So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's the key, isn't it? Like it's yeah, I will tell you this, Pat. I had the privilege of being able to come into your office and experience your culture firsthand. I don't even, I was trying to think how many years ago that is. It's probably 4 or 5 years at this point,
yeah.
right? But I was coming to your office and meeting with your leadership team. And what hit me is the fundamentals, the way that you started meetings and the way that you conducted a meeting was very intentional, to the point where when I came back for meetings, I think one of them I was like, well, wait, don't we need to start with a fundamental? It actually rubs off, but it also sets this incredible tone for what we're here to do and what that culture is first and foremost. So, I've never experienced that in another agency. I will tell you that. Like, it's very unique to O'Neill. But the intentionality, I think, is the key, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really just about driving performance, through behaviors and showing our culture that way. And you're right. Obviously it has an impact on our team and how they interact with our customers, but we're finding that, it's so ingrained in who we are and what we do that it makes an impact personally as well. Um, so yeah, we talk about our fundamental of the week every single week. And, we lead all meetings, whether they're internal, external, with those as well. So, that's a big part of what we do and what we're focused on with our culture. And, again, it's really just about making sure that we're staying connected, even though we're not, physically together all of the time. We do that a couple different ways. We try to get, our team members and their spouses together. We did a bowling night. We do just a monthly social hour where it's an opportunity just to, kind of shut down, go into our conference room, hang out, play some games, talk, catch up. So, uh, you know, different things that, just continue to drive connection.
Sounds like a lot of fun. But here's another way that I know that O'Neill is incredibly intentional. In fact, I reached out to Patrick a few weeks ago for him to share your journey with EOS and what that's meant inside your agency. I would love for you to share your perspective of the book traction and the process of implementing EOS inside your agency. And actually, why don't we just start with defining what EOS is for the people who may not be familiar with that? But can you talk a little bit about EOS for us?
Yes, I'd be happy to. We began our EOS journey about 5 years ago, and again, it was just something that we came across as an agency. We read the book Traction by Gino Wickman, and it's EOS stands for the Entrepreneur Operating System. And at that time, we were looking for a way to continue to drive processes and performance in our agency. We're a very, very process driven agency, where we have our processes documented and people are trained on them, they're held accountable to them. So that was always kind of part of our DNA. But when we got introduced to traction in EOS, it just felt like the missing piece. We always had, a terrific agency and firm, and this was really what we felt something that was missing, just to bring structure, performance, to help, identify and drive metrics in our business. So we started that journey about 5 years ago. We tried to implement EOS on our own. And for anybody that's tried to do it on their own, it's challenging. You still kind of fall into the same habits and behaviors, and maybe avoiding some of the maybe difficult decisions or conversations. So we engaged a firm out of Northeast Ohio called Culture Shock, and they have professional EOS implementers. And we did that back in 2018. And it's made a huge difference on our agency in terms of our performance, in terms of our growth, in terms of our just overall cohesiveness into how everybody operates. So, EOS kind of on the surface is really pretty simple. You have weekly meetings. So we have departmental meetings. Everybody in our agency has a weekly level 10 meeting. Everybody has a scorecard number. So a weekly scorecard number that they are, held accountable to. So it develops a cadence and just a consistency around certain meetings and expectations. And it's really been a huge, driver of performance for our agency. So I'd strongly recommend anybody that has heard of EOS, that hasn't explored EOS. I mean, the book Traction is outstanding, and it's just a way to bring structure and accountability into already great performing insurance agencies. So yes, we spent a lot of time with EOS. We've what we're finding now is that a lot of our business clients are operating their businesses on EOS. So it gives us a common language, to speak with other EOS companies that run their businesses that way as well. So
Yeah, without question. I think that's super helpful. And it also helps you know how to approach your client when you know that they're operating that way. You know what decision making process they're going to use, um, honestly, the language alone is something that's super helpful. You know, Pat, I would love to know how you see EOS playing a role as you transitioned ownership inside your agency. You had multiple partners. You're obviously next generation, and there's a lot that goes into transitioning from one generation to another, becoming partners with each other, forming those relationships, transferring responsibilities, all those things. And I have to believe having a defined, well defined process in EOS really made that a very structured process. But I'd love to hear your thought process and your perspective on what role that played, or any other things that you wrestled with during that time.
yeah, absolutely. Well, Carrie, when we first met one another is through the OIA, and we were working through an ownership transition in our agency. And ownership transitions not only from just the pure equity standpoint, but also just the responsibility and the leadership has a lot of challenges, and there's really no roadmap for it. So having EOS, having that foundation, just brought a lot of clarity to that process. And one thing that is part of our agency is we rely on outside experts, and we have a lot of coaches, a lot of outside experts that we look to bring us ideas and resources that we don't have. So Carrie, you were one of them at the time, and helped us really think through a thoughtful transition and go through it in a way that was fair, that made sense, that was respectful. So you played an instrumental role, and I'm incredibly grateful for you for that. And that's part of kind of who we are today as well. So we still have an EOS implementer that we hired 5 years ago. We meet with him several times a year, helps us tackle challenges. Part of their company is to go into the storm and to address challenging situations or conversations head on. So they've really helped us do that, as well as others as well. So, we really utilize outside resources and experts, and that has played and continues to play a significant role in the transition of our agency. So, I mentioned earlier, I'm second generation. My dad, Patrick, is still involved in the agency. He's still an owner in the agency. And just having not only the structure of EOS, but having outside voices and resources has really helped us with that. So, about a year and a half ago, we created an advisory board. So we have three outside advisory board members, with different levels of experience from different industries. So we meet with them quarterly, and that just is continued to help us not only with the transition, but also tackle some of our biggest challenges that we face. So that's really part of who we are, to find, who else out there has gone through this or is doing it well or has done it successfully, and are there things that we can learn. So we continue to focus on that. But yes, EOS, the transition, the structure that it's provided has really helped us create a healthy leadership transition plan at our agency that is an evolution. It doesn't happen overnight. It started 4 or 5 years ago, Carey, when we started working together, and it's ongoing today. But we've done it in a way that is productive. It's not always easy, but we're very lucky uh, to have it kind of where we are today, 4 or 5 years later.
I love that you said that you brought those people in order to represent diversity among your leadership. I actually just wrote a paper last night for I'm finishing up my graduate program for public administration, and so I wrote a paper that was all about how boards are the superpower of the public sector and like the nonprofit space, because they bring such a diverse range of perspectives into the journey of your organization. So I love that you said that. And I think that gaining diversity among not only your leadership, but your staff in general is so important. How are you, like, what are you doing to attract talent and attract new diverse ideas into your agency?
It's a really good question, and I'm sure we're not alone. It is obviously a challenge. Despite all the hiring challenges across, the United States and every industry the last couple of years. I mean, in the insurance business is no different. We've always had a pretty successful track record of bringing people from outside of the insurance industry into our agency and teaching them insurance. So, again, part of EOS, part of having a defined culture is really hiring for culture fits. So, first and foremost, we're looking for people that are going to fit our culture. They're going to add to our culture. They're going to drive our culture. And then we can either teach them insurance or, hopefully, the ones that have insurance experience, will continue to bring new ideas to us. So, yeah, it's something that we work on every single day. We're focused on, even if we don't have open positions, if we come across somebody or introduced to somebody, that is really talented, we'll find a place for them and bring them into our agency and continue to build them. So it's something that we're focused on. It's something that we struggle with. But again, there's a lot of different avenues to try to attract and keep our talent. So obviously, attracting them is one avenue, and then keeping our team members happy, healthy, keep them engaged, keep them motivated, and really keep them fulfilled. Not only fulfilled with the work they're doing, but fulfilled where they're in an organization that has a vision, that has a defined culture, where they feel like the work that they do is meaningful. So all of those things are components into what we're trying to do here at our agency.
So, Pat, honestly, building the right culture is the foundation of everything. Once you have that, your largest asset is always your people. No question about it.
Yep.
But as I talk to agents all around the country, and they're trying to position themselves for the next 30 years, not what they did the past 30 years, but what they're going to be for the next 30 years. Lots of agents are talking about tech. They're talking about creating efficiencies. They're talking about really focusing on strong procedures. They're embracing things like remote workers or virtual assistants. They're really focusing on robot. I mean, there's all kinds of things they're talking about, but technology is part of that conversation without question. Can you what's your approach or your thought process as someone who very likely has several decades left in your career? What do you think agents of today should be focusing on in order to prepare for that, um, the the customer of today and the customer of the future?
Yeah, it's such a good question. There's so many different challenges. I mean, the needs of insurance buyers obviously has changed. The needs continue to get more complex as, the risks that businesses and commercial clients of ours face, they're obviously different now than they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And the same thing, for our personal lines clients. So, at the end of the day, we're really focused on, we know that technology, we know that innovation is important, and we need to know what's out there to make sure that we are um, staying up to date and really being focused on what those next innovations are. But we're really looking at tech in a way, how can we protect our clients better? At the end of the day, we're in the business of protecting our clients, whether it's, a home and auto for a family or an individual or a business client. So focusing on protecting our clients and identifying technologies and changes that will either streamline that will assist in that is really what we're focused on. So, we've made technology investments in our agency that helps, create efficiencies, that helps, streamline some of the insurance buying process. We are, I don't want to say we're not the most tech savvy, because we're extremely tech savvy, but I haven't found a technology out there that, is really going to change our agency. But when I look ahead to the agency and what we do, independent agents, that's the role that we play. We're advisors, we're professionals, we understand insurance, we understand coverages. And if we can align not only our team and our culture, but supplement that with resources that drives protection, because things change in our client situations every single day. And, if we don't know about those changes, then it's hard to, put the proper insurance in place. So really, that's kind of the filter that we make decisions through at our agency, whether it's an investment, whether it's a hire. It's, is this going to drive the protection for our clients? So that's kind of the filter that we look to
You
make
know,
decisions.
I love that you say that, because I think there's a lot of agents that think tech's gonna be the magic bullet or replace some of the core things, and it can't. Like,
Right.
I firmly agree that A, you have to have connection with your customers and know what they want, and
Yeah.
B, tech should enhance what you're doing, not replace what you're doing. And so I think the agents that understand that are going to be able to continue that huge connection, because as things get more complex, people want to know that they're doing business with someone they can trust that's going to protect them appropriately. I can tell you for sure, that's the way I approach insurance as an insurance consumer. And I would also tell you, even in Lindsay's generation, it's not like I just want it to be fast. I want to know that I'm covered, because, it fast doesn't always mean something that makes sense for us,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. It is. It's a balance. You want it to be efficient and you want it to
Sure.
be quick. You don't want to have unnecessary steps, but at the same time, you want it to be thorough and thought through, and know that, somebody on the other side knows what your situation is. And really, you can only do that by asking good questions. So, we spend a lot of time talking with our team, whether it's on the front end with new clients or on the back end with the existing clients, about, being proactive, about reaching out, about asking questions, about having structure and processes in place to make sure that as things change, that we're there to ask the right questions to make sure we know about them. So there's tools, there's resources out there that we utilize, but again, at the end of the day, it still is about, you know, arming our team with those resources so that they can do their job as effectively as they can.
So, my favorite question to ask our podcast guests, I will close out this episode with, if you could go back to Pat, who just graduated from the great university, Miami University, leaving those red bricks in your past, what advice would you give to yourself knowing what you know now?
It's a great question. Um, I would say at the time, I've been very fortunate. I have a lot of wonderful mentors and people around me, but it's just aligning yourself with, people that have the same values, the same ambition, that, have achieved success. And that's not only business success, but personal success. And I think it's something that I've done as, I get kind of later into my career, but, as a young person right out of college, you know, that wasn't necessarily my focus, um, but it comes eventually. So I would just say find great people that you admire, that want to help, and try to learn as much from them as you can. Because really, when I mentioned our advisory board earlier, everybody out there really wants to help, especially people that have achieved, whether it's family success, business success, or they've learned great things. So find people that want to share and help you, and contribute to your success along the way. So um, it's a lot of fun. It's a great journey. The insurance business obviously is a wonderful industry, and so I think just for anybody out there that is looking, whatever their career is just find a handful of people that you can learn from, and it'll just exponentially speed up your growth process. So um, there you go. That's my
Well, thank
answer.
you for
You're
that.
welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
And
you
thank
bet.
you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you both for having me. I really, really appreciate it. And it's so great to see you both and talk to you both. So thanks for having me.
If anyone wants to reach out and learn more from you or has a question on something you've talked about, where can they reach you at?
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm an open book. I try to share as much as I can, but obviously there's a lot more. So I'm on LinkedIn, Pat O'Neill. If you go to our website, o'neillinsurance.com, my email, my phone number should be on there as well. But feel free to call me, shoot me an email anytime. Happy to help. So that's I didn't really touch on it, but I'm fortunate enough. I've got a strong network of other independent agency owners that I talk to pretty regularly from all over the country. And, we see each other a couple times a year at conferences, but, you know, a lot of our challenges, they deal with the same thing. And, you're not always going through the same thing alone, even though it might feel like it. So reach out and lean on that network and lean on other agency owners out there.
It's one of the beauties of our industry, isn't it? The willingness to help each other and the commonality of the challenges that we all face. So,
Absolutely.
Pat, I can't thank you enough for inviting me to be part of one of your mentors several years ago. It was an absolute pleasure, and for also coming and sharing with us today. So, thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.
You're very welcome. Thank you both. I hope to see you soon as well.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Insurance Refocused podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, please be sure to hit subscribe and leave us a review so you'll never miss us. Want to learn more about how Agency Focus can help you grow your agency? Head to agency-focus.com or email Carey directly at carey@agency-focus.com. If you need to get in touch with me, feel free to shoot me an email at lindsay@agency-focus.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.